I mean, there's a lot of people that have left, so I mean, we need to keep this in mind, and we need to keep this narrative going that folks can leave gangs, folks can leave extremist movements. This idea of, oh no, I'm trapped here. You can get out, and there are things, places that you can reach out to help you. I spent about 13 years in the organized hate movement in Canada. About 7 years ago, left that. So. I've decided to study and settle down and start a family, and now work in the area of violence prevention. Recognizing the different types of trauma that those and harm that those groups cause to society, realizing that members of minority communities had treated me over my lifespan, which was always, I couldn't think of bad things. The reattachment, I started getting reattached to things in the community like work and going back to school, studying, those things. So the positivity was outweighing that exhausting negativity that was existent during the time that I was affiliated with those groups. A trusted friend gave me a good story about how you know, the society was going down and we needed to fight back, and then gave me sort of an entry into a group of people to belong to, which was I guess what I was looking for at that time in my life when I joined there. There's one area that I regret was taking on some sort of leadership role in there. Puts you in a position where you need to be recruiting other people and bringing other people down that same negative pathway that I ended up going down. I would say the violence was more centralized to opportunistic violence, and also the violence was largely between the groups. These groups, one always wants to be the top sort of group, so the violence would be between, you know, mostly infighting between these groups, more so than trying to fight with the community. Of course, there's isolated incidents where people from these groups go into the society. A lot of times those things are very drastic, because then they've broken away from the group and they're off on their own now. Most of the ideas were pretty delusional in a lot of ways, thinking that we could separate and create our own, you know, community, separate away from society. And there's a lot of drinking and partying and all these other types of things going on. You know, those types of things obviously didn't contribute to the betterment of our, you know, game plan, whatever the plan was. But at the end of the day, it's all related back to the same notion of just racism and white supremacy. It's not you know, there's never going to be this idea of this community that they talk about. Initially, a lot of people are joining these groups because they get attracted to some sense of belonging within these groups, and they feel wanted by this idea of brotherhood in these groups. There isn't brotherhood. Just as soon as they'll accept you in, they'll kick you out. I don't think it's ever going to be all behind me. I think part of what I'm doing now is trying to work on, like, helping those other people that are trying to make that transition out. So I'm forever thinking about my time in within those movements, but I'm also you know, trying to utilize those years of my life to help others. I think some of the steps I took were A, removing myself from it, B, realizing how much contradiction there was inside of it, evaluating where I want to be in life and who I want to be as a, you know, as a person, as a father, as a, you know, member of the community, the greater community. When I speak with people that are looking to get out, I try and talk to them about, you know, what kind of person do you see yourself in 5 years from now, or what kind of things do you want to do that you think are positive, and start hearing about those, and not challenging them about their politics, or, you know, those things may change or they may not change, but that's not, I don't think that's a premise to start on. I think it's definitely getting them to look within themselves first. You just have to break those things that you did on a daily basis, and break those routines and habits and things that you do. So a lot of that has to do with, yeah, spending that time alone in that suggested void, and doing some introspection and thinking about yourself and family, and thinking about how you can do things better.